KFNX.com.
Hi, everybody. Jim Howell from the KFNX Weather Center. Pretty hot weekend for us. 101 today, our final high, and we'll bump that up a little bit to 103 tomorrow. Overnight lows now, mid-70s, and for the first of this upcoming week, still hot, 104. Jim Howell, Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 70 degrees.
This is Lance Dreher. Being a former world champion athlete is tough enough. Being over 50 and trying to stay in shape is tougher. What makes it more difficult for women or men over 50 is finding a place to get fit and lose weight without feeling uncomfortable. Not anymore. As Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute will be doing the same thing all the other clients are doing in an environment that deals with all the issues of someone 50 plus. No other exercise and weight control center strictly meets the needs of people 50 plus. Instead of joining a fitness center or enrolling in a weight control program where 98% gain their weight back, enroll at Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute, where your exercise program and nutrition is geared towards being 50 or older. Call Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute. Call now for your free consultation. Locations in Scottsdale and Arrowhead. Call 480-451-0071. 480-451-0071. Specializing in fitness and weight control programs for men and women 50 plus. Or visit solutionsbydrfitness.com.
My grandson always tells me I worry about him too much. Well, I was worried sick when he came home from Afghanistan. He came back wounded. It wasn't a wound you could see. It was post-traumatic stress disorder. My T felt like he didn't fit in anywhere. Then I heard about Wounded Warrior Project. I don't know what they do there, but my T is smiling again.
Many of our warriors return from the battlefield with post-traumatic stress disorder. Help support them at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Welcome to Solutions by Dr. Fitness. Now here's your host, Lance Dreher.
This makes me want to just go dancing down 3rd Street out here, you know. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Solutions by Dr. Fitness on Independent Talk Radio, 1100 KFNX. I'm going to give the phone number out. This is a live show, by the way. It's 7:05 in the morning. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask Dr. Fitness a question today. And if you're one of those individuals out there that are struggling with your weight, or you just don't know how to get yourself motivated to maybe make these lifestyle changes that are absolutely essential today, particularly in light of the fact that we have so many people that are overweight and sick, it's a good opportunity for you to give me a call because I'm an expert in this area. And I know how to get people to lose weight, and I know how to get people to keep the weight off, and that seems to be a struggle in America today. Here's the phone number. Write it down. Call right now. We have 4 lines available, and we're here till 8 o'clock. The phone number is 602-277-5369. 602-277-5369. I'm going to say it one more time, and I might be saying it a little bit too quickly for people out there who are just rolling out of bed, and just go, rubbing their eyes. And who's on the radio this morning? This crazy Dr. Fitness guy? He's trying to get me out of bed and moving around? Well, yeah, that's right. 602-277-KFNX. Put it next to your phone. Do you realize that yesterday was National Eat What You Want Day? Yeah. Can you believe that? National Eat What You Want Day. And when I look at the news stories, I just want to puke. I just want to just vomit everywhere. I can say that on the radio, right, Jennifer? Is that okay? Mostly at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. It's obesity. This is the news story of the week. They're all the guys all over television, Fox News, and all the main stations were all talking about, this news report that obesity is projected to grow. Even though the pace slows, according to the Center for Disease Control, and they're claiming that it's going to go to 42% by the year 2030. And they're saying the pace is actually slowed based on their previous predictions or statistics from the past that it was going to go up even faster than that. But the worst part is this. Okay, not only is 34% of our population, the adult population, 78 million American adults are obese, 78 million. We have another 12.5 million kids who are obese. Okay, but here's the problem. They're saying, slowing down. I'm like, this is good news. Good news. Come on now. 42%? But they're saying what's going to happen is that the severely obese, the real pudgy ones, the ones who are really carrying a lot of weight, is going to really explode. Those carrying 80 or more pounds more than the healthy normal weight for their height is expected to grow by 130%. Holy smokes. Grow by 130%. I mean, we have 35.7% of the American adults, 78 million American adults are currently obese. And those that are carrying 80 or more pounds is going to grow by 130%. But what's going to happen? The fatties are going to get fatter. And I'm not saying that in a condescending, critical way. I'm just telling the facts, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have a day like yesterday, National Eat What You Want Day. What do they think these people have been doing? And then I look on a webpage and they're saying, dieting is a relatively new thing. I agree with that. That's on this National, Eat What You Want Day, one of these web pages. It is a relatively new thing. People didn't diet in the past. I mean, you didn't try to diet. You tried to stay alive. But today, we don't have that problem today. We become a society of eat as much as we can get our hands on and don't stop even when we're full. And then it appears that the healthcare community, they don't care. It's more money in their pockets. They can cha-ching, roll up the big bucks. Get the people out there who are having these issues, and I feel sorry for them because most of them have no idea what they're doing. No idea what they're doing whatsoever. But we're rolling up the billions and billions of dollars into the trillions now, taking care of people who have weight issues. And I've been talking about this topic for the last couple of weeks on my show, and all its relationship to cancer and diabetes and to heart disease and all these non-alcoholic fatty liver. I mean, it's tied to it. And we're going to increase the number of people who are obese now in 18 years to 42%. I guarantee you it's that now. Not in 18 years. And that those people that are carrying 80 or more pounds is going to go up, expected to grow by 130%. If you go to a gym, do yourself a favor. If you have, let's say, 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, and I'm going to tell you in a minute how many people are overweight based on what's called a body mass index. And let's say you're 50 pounds overweight. Ladies, go pick up a 50-pound dumbbell and see how heavy that thing is. You go, oh, my God, I'm carrying that around. What do you think that's doing to your heart? What do you think that's doing to your bones, your joints? A lot. What do you think that's doing to the quality of your life? Holy cripes. Now take somebody who's 80 pounds or more. Pick up an 80-pound dumbbell. A lot of you out there can't even do that. You can't pick up an 80-pound dumbbell, but you're carrying 80 or more pounds extra body weight? Sad. And then we have National Eat What You Want Day. What do they think the people have been doing all along? They've been eating what they want every day. But yet we have a population, a huge population that is on a diet continuously. What the heck kind of diet are they following? It's not the Dr. Fitness diet. Phone number 602-277-5369. 602-277-KFNX. Lines are completely open. And I'm sure that those people out there listening right now, they're saying, well, that's me. I feel guilty. I feel guilty. Believe me, I'm not picking on you. I'm not doing it. I just want you to get motivated. I want you to get motivated. And people need someone looking over their shoulder right now, as you're ready to pour your bowl of Fruit Loops and put in your skim milk. Dr. Fitness is looking over your right shoulder saying, oh my gosh, what are you doing to yourself? Wrong food. Throw it in the garbage can. 602-277-5369. You don't have to have a weight issue. You don't have to have, and all we're doing is we're making these companies that make drugs richer. I mean, I'm helping Joe over at Solutions. He's going to call it the bottom of the hour because, Joe used to weigh 400 pounds. He's, 178, I think now. 12 years later on my program. That's why he owns Solutions. He opens Solutions based on my concept. Yeah. They just have no idea. So we're working on a program for a gentleman who's on 18 different drugs. He's taking one drug to counteract the side effects of the other drug that's causing problems with this drug. Holy cripes. 18 drugs. And you sit down and you figure out how much they're spending, and someone's going on the cash register going, man, am I making bucks off this guy? Now take millions of people and multiply those numbers. A lot of money. Oh, man, is there a lot of money in that. Keep them fat, keep them sick. And I'm not picking on, Dr. Fitness is not picking on anybody. He loves people. I really do. I really do love people. You just have to know me. And I'm saying this with tongue in cheek because I really do love people. I really do. I don't care if you're overweight. It doesn't bother me. I love everybody. I just want you to be happy. And I have not met one person yet. And if you're out there and you can be honest with yourself, call me and say, I'm a fatty and I'm all very happy with myself. Can't find them. You can't find them. I'm sure they're there, but I don't know of any. I haven't met one yet. Because you're looking at yourself, what have I done to myself? And you're afraid to see friends you haven't seen in years. Oh, cripes. It affects relationships, you name it. 602-277-5369. Let's go to Howard from Phoenix. Hello, Howard. Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I just want to tell you about a recent experience I had. We went to Israel 10 days. We ate like kings. I didn't gain a single pound because they eat so healthy there. And the observation I made is when I got off the plane back in the States, I couldn't believe how big everybody is here.
Yeah, how about it? Isn't it terrible?
It's scary.
Oh, it's absolutely scary.
You need to look in the mirror.
Absolutely scary. I mean, if you travel the world, you'll see that the Americans are so out of shape. And then you see these television commercials with all these different exercise routines on there. And they got all these young kids dancing around, all have oil on their bodies looking really good. But you'll go outside here, go down to the shopping mall or a restaurant. You don't see it there. That's for doggone
Not at all.
But anyhow.
It's scary.
Very scary. And it's going to get worse. And part of the problem is because our media and the people who control what people eat or the actual concept of what they should be eating are lying out of their cotton-picking eye teeth about how the body uses food. Lying. And the whole agenda is to get people heavier because if you can, let's put it this way, if you can create a market, let's take Phoenix here, get rid of all the homes and have a population of 3 million people and we've got 1 million homes. Okay, you're going to be pretty rich pretty quick building homes, aren't you? All right, so if you can create a population of overweight people with all these various diseases tied into it, you're going to make a lot of money treating these people, a whole lot, on the medications that are needed for their sicknesses that are all tied in to them being overweight, every one of them. And you can make lots of bucks. And, of course, the ones who are making bucks on that is the medical community, not only your physicians. I got this story on these 2 doctors, lap band doctors being sued from people dying from it. And also the pharmaceutical companies, drugs for cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, problems with the kidneys, you name it, all the way down the line. Okay, tied into people being overweight. And it's not
running rampant in this country.
We've got to get me out there in front of them and say, this is how it is, gang. Get your act together. Got to let you go, Howard. You have a great weekend, okay? Take care. The phone number is 602-277-5369, 602-277-KFNX. This is Lance here. Dr. Fitness, lines are open. Call right now. We're talking about this 42% projected growth to obesity. Oh, come on now. Be right back.
We are buying an 1,800 square foot house, and those home inspection companies want over $300 to inspect it.
We got our inspection from Inspect 10 for less than $200. It was a really detailed report, and they're state licensed, and they've been in business almost 10 years.
Wow, how can we get that?
Well, you need to call Inspect 10 at 480-204-1010 now, because you have less than 10 days to get it done.
I'm calling Inspect 10 480-204-1010 now.
Business owners, localwork.com will help you find local talent to fill all of your positions. Mention KFNX and receive 50% off your first job listing. Use localwork.com to hire a local that knows our culture, knows our city, and won't leave town when they feel the first triple-digit summer day. Localwork.com is on a mission to support local business and grow the Arizona economy. Business owners, big or small, mention KFNX and receive 50% off your first job listing. Visit localwork.com.
Homeowners, did you know a burglar could break into your home and get away in just 5 minutes? A locked door may not be enough to keep a thief out of your home. Think about what you can lose, and then think about this. Now you can get a free security system monitored by ADT, the leader in home security. Pick up your phone now and get free hardware, free medical and fire alert, and free activation. It's an $850 value. Just call Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, at 1-800-948-7434. You'll get 24-hour protection, and there's no cost for parts or activation. So call now about a free security system monitored by ADT. Call 1-800-948-7434. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement at $35.99 a month. Call for terms and conditions to this offer and protect your home license numbers. Call now, 1-800-948-7434. That's 1-800-948-7434.
Welcome back to Solutions by Dr. Fitness on Independent Talk Radio, 1100 KFNX. This is your host, Dr. Fitness, Lance Dreher. And we're talking about this news article, obesity in U.S. projected to grow. Now, let me say this to you. Okay, I mean, if you have this issue of being overweight like this, you're not gonna feel all motivated to go down to a fitness center or one of these weight loss places and get started, are you? I guarantee that, particularly if you're over 50. I'll be 57 next month. And I'll tell you what, if I had this issue, I mean, I don't feel comfortable going into some of these gyms. I just don't. All right. So I'm a former world champion athlete. And if I have a rough time doing this and staying in shape and getting motivated, you do too. And it's extremely difficult for men and women who are over 50 trying to find a place that they feel comfortable in. Okay, where they can get this weight off and get themselves in shape. Well, not anymore. And I'm sure you've heard the commercial earlier in the show about Solutions in Scottsdale and the Fitness Institute in Glendale and Arrowhead catering to people that are 50 and older. Everybody there, you'll see that when you go into the place, everybody there is your age group. They're not somebody, 25 coming in, all buff, got the wife beater T-shirts on and things like this and the tattoos all over their bodies. They're our age group. And they're interested in exactly the same thing. They want to get their blood pressure down. They want to get their cholesterol under control. If they're diabetic, they want to get that under control too. And they have other health issues that they want to get under control. Maybe joint replacement. I've had both my knees replaced from sports injuries. And there's no other exercise or weight control center that strictly meets the needs of people that are over 50. None. And there's a great need for it too. So Solutions solves that problem, and so does the Fitness Institute and our affiliates. So no more wasting your time. So instead of joining a gym or a fitness center or going and enrolling in a weight loss program where 98% of the people gain their weight back, you need to go down to Solutions in Scottsdale and the Fitness Institute and our affiliates and get yourself in shape. Because you're going to be assigned to a professional who's in your age group too, who's going to take you through a routine, a program, an exercise routine based on my protocol that's designed for your interests, not theirs. So you can call for a free consultation, have that food plan set up for you too to get your diet under control as well and get these issues handled too. Set up that time for that free consultation, and if you enroll in the program, if you sign up, it's 50% off the enrollment fee. And we have locations in Scottsdale and Arrowhead. Here's the phone number, one main phone number. You're going to go through a directory, leave a message. Most likely they are working with people. Yes, they work on Saturday. And they will call you back Monday morning. But call right now. 50% off the enrollment fee. The consultation's absolutely free. And it's not like going to one of these other places where you're high pressure for a $30 a month membership. Believe me, not like that. Here's the phone number, 480-451-0071, 480-451-0071, 480-451-0071. Call right now. And again, leave a message. They will call you back. Okay, anyhow. Here's a phone number here at the studio at 1100 KFNX. It's 602-277-5369. And, you know, we know that people have these weight issues. A lot of times it's tied into cortisol. Okay, this is a stress hormone. And according to research that was published in the International Journal of Obesity and Related Metabolic Disorders, a combination of ephedrine, which you can't get now, by the way, caffeine, which you can get, and theanine was able to produce weight and fat loss in overweight adults, although the three components were not studied individually. In a study a decade later, okay, this was published back in the 1990s, presented at the 12th European Congress of Obesity, scientists showed that caffeine and theanine without ephedrine, that's good, were able to break down fats in the body. A project published in Vivo in 2004 verified that L-theanine, which is an amino acid, ladies and gentlemen, along with the caffeine that you find in green tea powder. You know, green tea is really good for weight loss. That's because of the L-theanine. Was able to prevent weight gain. However, the ability of L-theanine on its own to affect weight loss has not been studied. And it may be that it takes all the components in the green tea working synergistically to fight obesity. Anyhow, L-theanine lowers cortisol levels. This is a feel-good amino acid that you can buy at GNC, that you can buy at High Health, that you can buy at Sprouts, that you can buy at Sunflower, you can buy at any CP Vitamins, you can buy at any of your local health food store. It's going to have L-theanine. You take about 200 milligrams a couple times a day between your meals, take one at night, and it lowers cortisol. It increases alpha brain waves. It doesn't do like some of these medications that you take do, you know. It makes you feel like you're going to fall asleep. No, this actually makes you feel more alert without being a stimulant because it increases alpha brain waves, which are the waves that calm you down, make you feel, mellow, yellow, that kind of thing, by lowering cortisol. Because when you are constantly pumping up cortisol, then you become insulin resistant because then blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up to bring it down. Here we go. All over time, those cells get tired out. All right, and they just don't work anymore, and it takes more insulin to get the blood sugar down that cortisol is bringing up. Okay, you ever wonder why you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, middle of the night? You ever wonder why? It's because cortisol is high that time of the night to keep the blood sugar at the right level, to keep everything going properly, particularly the brain, and keep it quiet and calm. Well, cortisol and insulin being too high doesn't allow that to happen. Cortisol's high, insulin's high, you wake up. Here we go, adrenaline now. Adrenaline's put out. That's why the heart rate picks up, wakes you up. Get up and eat, it's telling you. Get your blood sugar up because it's falling. Well, L-theanine helps by lowering cortisol, and over time by lowering cortisol, okay, you lower the resistance that insulin causes by too much of it too long, too often, from too many carbohydrates in the diet, and over time you get control of that weight. But it's a very effective supplement, and it's not one of those kind that, you know, that you're going to, feel for 6 or 7 months. You know, you feel it right away, about 35, 45 minutes, because I know I've used it. Okay, and it actually, at a dose of about 200 milligrams, it actually stays in your system for about 5 hours, and that's L-theanine, Theanine. And this is not a commercial. I'm just telling you about it because people say, well, you know, you're saying this stuff, Lance, what do you recommend? Well, this is what I'm recommending. Right, here's one of them. Okay, here's a phone number. Lines are completely open, 602-277-5369, 602-277-KFNX, and we're talking about this news article that was out this week that everybody was talking about. And presently we have 78 million American adults that are obese. We have 12.5 million kids that are obese. And let me tell you how easy it is to be obese. Now, here's what's wrong with the BMI, body mass index. It's a very good way to determine if a person has a weight problem if they're not active. If you are active, this is not accurate. Active means if you're doing resistance training. Because I'm about 205, 206 pounds, and Jennifer can look at me and she can say, "You're not obese, Lance. I can tell by looking at you. You're a buff guy, even though you're old." But you look at the chart, and I'm 5'9", okay, and about 206 pounds. I am obese. I have a BMI of almost 31. I'm obese. Okay, and I'm not obese. Okay, so that's the problem with it. So people that are really active, that do a lot of exercise, particularly resistance training, need to have a proper body composition test where you can determine how much body fat you really have versus muscle mass. Now, let me tell you how close obese and overweight are. If I was not an active person and I had this issue of being overweight and I was 206 pounds, okay, I would be obese. At 196, 10 pounds less, I'm overweight. So if I go over, the difference between overweight and obese is between 196 pounds and 203 pounds. 7 pounds difference between an overweight person and an obese person. And the difference between an overweight person and a normal weight person in the same height is a mere of 7 pounds too. So it's not hard to be obese. And I can see where they're getting these numbers from. Because most Americans, I mean, a 200-pound male, 5'9", that's average. So you can see why there's so many people who are considered obese. And, of course, the extreme obese is way up there. At my height, extreme obesity is 270 pounds. And I've seen guys, my height, 270. You listen to Solutions by Dr. Fitness on Independent Talk Radio 1100. Phone number 602-277-5369, 602-277-KFNX. We'll be right back. Lines are completely open. Be right back.
Laura Ingraham, Neil Bortz, The Ron Sherman Show, Michael Savage, Independent Talk, 1100, KFNX.
NBC News Radio, I'm Alex Witt. The nation's largest bank, which previously lobbied Congress for special breaks to allow them to make massive bets, has lost $2 billion in a trading blunder. Time magazine senior political analyst Mark Halperin says the loss by J.P. Morgan Chase will play different politically for President Obama and Mitt Romney.
This is a big divide between the president and Mitt Romney. President Obama is arguing that he's been someone who's championed protecting American consumers from Wall Street, and his record shows that. Governor Romney is someone who favors a more free market approach.
The J.P. Morgan loss has rippling economic effects, and that's opening talks again about more regulation on Wall Street. And speaking of Romney, the former governor is speaking at Liberty University in Virginia today. Romney is not expected to talk about gay marriage, despite his opposition likely being well received at the evangelical school founded by the late Reverend Jerry Falwell. This is NBC News Radio.
Hi, everybody. Jim Howell for the KFNX Weather Center. Pretty hot weekend for us. 101 today, our final high, and we'll bump that up a little bit to 103 tomorrow. Overnight lows now, mid-70s, and for the first of this upcoming week, still hot, 104. Jim Howell, Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 71 degrees.
This is Lance Dreher. Being a former world champion athlete is tough enough. Being over 50 and trying to stay in shape is tougher. What makes it more difficult for women or men over 50 is finding a place to get fit and lose weight without feeling uncomfortable. Not anymore. At Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute, we'll be doing the same thing all the other clients are doing in an environment that deals with all the issues of someone 50 plus. No other exercise or weight control center strictly meets the needs of people 50 plus. Instead of joining a fitness center or enrolling in a weight control program where 98% gain their weight back, enroll at Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute, where your exercise program and nutrition is geared towards being 50 or older. Call Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute. Call now for your free consultation. Locations in Scottsdale and Arrowhead. Call 480-451-0071. 480-451-0071. Specializing in fitness and weight control programs for men and women 50 plus. Or visit solutionsbydrfitness.com.
When today's veterans come home, they are thanked and honored for their service, and rightly so. But for the veterans of the Vietnam War, there was no hero's welcome. Far too often they were disrespected, ignored, or simply forgotten. Never again. The Education Center at the Wall will preserve and display photos, letters, and memories of Vietnam veterans so their stories and service will never be forgotten. Help us build it. Visit buildthecenter.org.
Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Solutions by Dr. Fitness on Independent Talk Radio 1100 KFNX. And we have a couple lines that are open. Phone number 602-277-5369 is the number. And we're going to go to Joe Cefalo, who's the owner of Solutions by Dr. Fitness out there in Scottsdale. And, Joe, you have successfully, and we're talking about this stuff in the news this past week with obesity going up, you have successfully conquered the beast. You know, keeping that kind of weight off for so long. All right, you have to have secrets that you use yourself to keep this under control, because what you have done is commendable, but very, 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 very rare. What are some of the secrets that you actually use for yourself to keep this under control and that you actually share with your clients out there at Solutions by Dr. Fitness?
Hey, good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Joe.
You know, everyone says it's a rare thing to do, and I wish that we could affect more people. Probably the very first thing that people really need to understand is that it is so much easier than you believe it is. Mm-hmm. You've tried all kinds of things, and now you have the mindset that you just can't do it, or it's too difficult, it's overwhelming, you're just not going to be the one, you're going to be trapped forever. It is not true, Lance, because people walk around with so much misinformation, they don't have the knowledge to do things properly, and if you're fueling your body like we will teach you at Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute in Glendale and our affiliates, we'll teach you those knowledge nuggets that we talk about every week so that you'll be able to empower yourself and lose weight. And by the way, it's not always just about weight loss. There's a lot of people out there listening and our clients that are in great shape, but we challenge them and show them new ways that are healthy for their bodies that are a little bit more mature, where they won't hurt themselves and yet they can test their fitness levels. One of the big things I think that you can do to start out is just look at the food labels that you're currently eating. I mean, just any time you're going to have something to eat, glance at the food label. You don't have to know the entire food label, but here's the thing to look at. People, Lance, tend to look at fat. They should look first at the sugar. If the sugar is 9 grams of sugar or more per serving, then you need to just either take that and cut that portion in half, or just don't eat the product, because you're going to spike your insulin level, and then all the things that you talk about locking out the fat cells and not being able to access fat as fuel start to take place when you have that much sugar in a serving.
Okay, now can you explain to the listeners that sugar and carbohydrates are exactly the same thing?
Exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's just that what we're trying to accomplish is to slowly release sugar into our body, so that we can get the benefits of the energy and all that we need for our metabolism and our body's ability to process. But we don't want to do it in a manner where we put so much sugar in our body so quickly that our body says, wait, we have to counter this, produces a hormone, and now we have insulin in our body, and we shut down our fat cells. Because then, Lance, we could put you on a treadmill for 3 days. You will not effectively burn 1 ounce of fat.
Right, absolutely.
And so, last thing about the food labels, you really have to get to know what the portion size are. All too often, we look at the picture that's on the box, and we think that's the portion size. So, let's say oatmeal, for instance. You think you're doing something healthy. You have a bowl of oatmeal. But the truth is, you might have had 3 or 4 servings. So you think you're having the 100 calories that the serving size says, but you didn't make the serving. You made something that was 3-4 times larger. So in essence, you could be overeating 400 calories just from your bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah, because I think one serving of oatmeal is 1/4 cup uncooked.
One uncooked, right? But when you look at that bowl, there's probably enough there for 5 people.
You can see a person put a 1/4 cup of cooked oatmeal in a bowl cooked and look and go.
So think about that. Just think about that. If our listeners are looking at just the sugar and then the portion size, and really take a look. And it's not like we're promoting that you have to measure everything. Right. You'll get to know. Maybe 1 time, 2 times you have to measure, but then you'll know how much it is.
Right.
And then you just do it by sight. And if you did that every day, each time saved yourself only 100 calories a day or per time that you looked at those servings. Can you imagine the calories per week? All you need to do is find 3,500 calories a week, and you're losing a pound of fat.
You got it. Now, if they want to come see you because you've got these secrets, okay, yes. So people know Joe works with me. Okay, it's not like Joe's by himself and Lance is by. No, we work together at the same location. Okay, we put our 2 heads together, and 2 heads are better than one, particularly an Italian head and a German head. Okay, if they want to set up a time to come in.
But we're both Americans.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, if they want to set up a time for a consultation, can they do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, what number do they call?
They could call 480-551-6947. 480-551-6947. That'll be the Scottsdale office, and typically I will pick up the phone or you'll get a voicemail and I will get back to them. But they need to leave a message, and the toughest part, I will tell you, there is one difficult part, Lance, about losing weight. Picking up the phone and calling me. That is the most difficult thing, because you think there's going to be all these torture chambers and everything else, and it's going to be the easiest thing. The phone call will be harder than the process to lose weight. I guarantee it, Lance.
Making the first step on anything's the most difficult thing. Okay, Joe, we'll see you at 8:30, okay?
Have a great day.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. Number 602-277-5369, 602-277, KFNX lines are open. We're going to go to Teresa from Tempe. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Fitness. I was just driving home from my night shift and listening to your show. And I am 58. I'm in really good shape, maybe a few pounds overweight, but I hike a lot. So my question is, the night shift, would that amino acid you were talking about help that decreases the cortisol?
Yeah, you actually use your what time do you go to bed normally?
Well, I just got home, so probably about 8. I usually don't sleep more than maybe 6 hours.
Yeah, so you sleep during the day when most people sleep during the night, so your whole day scheme's all messed up a bit.
It sure is. I only work 2 nights a week, and it's usually like spaced out with 2 or 3 days off in between.
Okay, so you only work 2 days a week. What I would suggest, because this creates an environment what we call seasonal affect disorder, like you get up in Alaska from the lack of sunlight, and then too much sunlight just messes up your time clock, your body clock, is probably L-theanine would help, but would probably be better than that would take some 5-HTP, which is 5-hydroxytryptophan.
Oh, yes.
Okay, which is one step closer, okay, or from becoming serotonin, which will, of course, then convert into melatonin and put you in a deep sleep state. Okay, that would be more. 5-HTP.
Yeah. But the melatonin isn't worth taking then, or?
No, melatonin to me puts me in a real groggy state, but 5-HTP won't do that. And 5-HTP, because of the effect on serotonin, helps with calming and relaxing, and of course, the environment you're creating based on your time clock is sort of screwed up. Okay, so I would suggest 5-HTP. Again, you can get that at GNC, High Health, Sprouts, Sunflower, CP Vitamins. Any of those places should have that, okay?
But what was the name of the amino acid? I was just trying to see if I knew it.
5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan.
No, the one to do with the cortisol.
Oh, it's L-theanine.
Oh, L-theanine.
Yeah, that's good too, but you could take that during the other days that you're not working over there.
Okay, because it's real difficult to transition. I go back to the day shift, and then when I go back to work at night, because it's 6 p.m., I usually stay up all day, and then I go into work and stay up all night, and it's really rough.
That's like jet lag. You know what else is good too is I've been told that NADH, okay, which is coenzyme 1, is really good for people who experience jet lag, and that would be what you're going through. Okay, that's the most important coenzyme in the human body. That's the one that's needed to make ATP, which is cell energy. We don't just take food and make that into energy. We make that into ATP, which creates the energy in all the cells in the body. Without ATP, you die. Okay, so the NADH allows you to make more of that. Okay, so take about 10 or 15 milligrams of that a day, okay? Have a good day, all right?
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Number 602-277-5369, 602-277 KFNX, and lines are completely open. And I want to bring up this news article. I saw this morning. I go, these guys are hucksters. Okay, it was a news article on Fox this morning about these two doctors being sued for doing lap band surgery. It says a few doctors, this is what I'm talking about, create the market, you make a lot of bucks. And these guys, they're milking it. They make $21 million a month, these doctors. And doing what they call the weight loss business, and they're the Beverly Hill brothers called Julian and Michael Amity. And they were featured on a cable program called Dr. 90210. And they're being sued because a couple of these people died. And they made the comment, get this, they made the comment, we can afford, this one lady died because she had her liver lacerated during a surgery and was sent home. Yeah. And the doctor made the comment that we can afford $1 million, we make $21 million a month. I just want to throw up. And so we're doing this to ourselves. We're allowing these type of people to feed off us. Because lap band surgery, gastric bypass surgery. You understand what gastric bypass surgery is about? They cut your guts open. They make a pouch in the stomach, and they bypass about 12 inches of the small intestine. You don't digest carbohydrates in the stomach. You digest carbohydrates in the small intestine. And so if you bypass the part where you digest carbohydrates, what happens? They go right through you. So they're trying to get around that process so you don't digest the carbohydrates. So what does it say? You need to be on a low-carb diet. Because when you're on a low-carb diet, your insulin levels go down and you burn fat. And this pouch they're creating is volume control, portion control, like Joe talked about. So why do we have to do such extreme things and jeopardize our health to hucksters like this guy here, these two brothers? We can do it with food. And we need to understand that we are in control of this. Phone number 602-277-5369, 602-277-KFNX, and lines are completely open. I'm Lance Dreher, Dr. Fitness. We'll be right back. This is Lance Dreher. Being a former world champion athlete is tough enough. Being over 50 and trying to stay in shape is tougher. What makes it more difficult for women or men over 50 is finding a place to get fit and lose weight without feeling uncomfortable. Not anymore. At Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute, we'll be doing the same thing all the other clients are doing in an environment that deals with all the issues of someone 50 plus. No other exercise or weight control center strictly meets the needs of people 50 plus. Instead of joining a fitness center or enrolling in a weight control program where 98% gain their weight back, enroll at Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute, where your exercise program and nutrition is geared towards being 50 or older. Call Solutions by Dr. Fitness and the Fitness Institute. Call now for your free consultation. Locations in Scottsdale and Arrowhead. Call 480-451-0071. 480-451-0071. Specializing in fitness and weight control programs for men and women 50 plus. Or visit solutionsbydrfitness.com.
Hi folks, I want to introduce you to McCarthy Law. McCarthy Law is a law firm dedicated to negotiating for large reductions in their clients' debt without the need for bankruptcy. If you have too much credit card debt, home equity lines of credit, or even medical bills, McCarthy Law might be able to help. For a free consultation to see if McCarthy Law can help you, call 602-456-8900. Even if you make good money, you may still have the opportunity to reduce what you owe. Call 602-456-8900 to talk to an expert at McCarthy Law. 602-456-8900.
1-800-PLUMBER, finalist for the Small Business of the Year Award from the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, is still the 1-800-PLUMBER you've come to know and trust. Let us help you with your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call 1-800-PLUMBER or visit us online at 1-800-PLUMBER.com today.
Have you ever felt taken advantage of when purchasing a vehicle? Then listen to Your Car Insiders Saturdays at 8 a.m. They don't work for dealerships and will teach you the car industry tricks. Regain control and get the deal you deserve. Your Car Insiders every Saturday at 8 a.m.
Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Yeah, okay. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Solutions by Dr. Fitness on Independent Talk Radio 1100 KFNX. And I'm Lance Fear, Dr. Fitness. I'm a former Mr. America, and I won Mr. Universe twice back in the 1980s, a whole bunch of other titles when I was a young guy. And all I want to do now is I want to be healthy, just like you do. And this is why I do this show. I don't do this show because I get paid to do it. In fact, we're paying to be on the air because the information needs to get to the consumer. It's that simple. And we know that if we can reach just a couple people out there, say, you know, I need help. And they just pick up the phone and they give Joe a call, or they talk to me, they're going to get that help. And finally going to solve this beast. Because when I look at this news article, and I see that 2020 did an investigation that featured Diane Sawyer on it, and they found in the past 3 years about these doctors I was telling you about, the lap band, that at least 5 patients have died after lap band surgery at the Brothers California clinics. And these are the guys they call they had on the cable program called Dr. 90210. And they have their business is advertised in California as 1-800-GET-THIN. And here's the comment they made. The guy whose wife died, his name's Fiatro, I think his name is Faitro. Fiatro. Says his wife Laura died after doctors lacerated her liver during the procedure but sent her home without revealing the mistake. And the clinic's lawyers said that Laura Fiatro, this is what they tried to paint a picture. This person was abusive. They didn't take care of themselves. They didn't care. Had other health issues, and the lacerated liver was not the cause of her death. But the doctor who operated on her testified that one of the brothers told him they made too much money to worry about the death or the cost of a lawsuit. Yeah, the death or the cost of a lawsuit. And then we wonder, we're feeding these people, ladies and gentlemen. We're making these hucksters rich. And it's not just these two guys here. It's the pharmaceutical industry. We're making them filthy rich by the amount of drugs that we take because we don't take care of ourselves. And so my objective as Dr. Fitness on this show is to give you information, to educate you, so you can make the proper decision without doing things that are so drastic. Because when people have lap band done, when they have gastric bypass done, it's drastic. It's the last resort approach. I've tried everything else, and I just can't do this. No, they haven't. They haven't tried everything else, and they just can't do it. They just didn't do it, period. Because doing this is making them cut their food down. And doing the gastric bypass makes them not only cut their food down, but cut the carbohydrates way down. And none of them guarantee 100% success. You lose weight, but they do exactly the same thing. They put the weight back on. Because they fall back into bad habits. They let their emotions control what they eat. And then what they eat makes them want to eat more. Because we know, we are like that article that I mentioned earlier, because it was National Eat What You Want Day yesterday, said, dieting is a relatively new thing, and our ancestors ate as many carbs and fat as they can get their hands on. Yes, they did at a certain time of the year to gain body fat to live through the winter because it was a matter of survival. Today we have these foods available all year round. And of course, carbohydrates, because they were only available for 8 to 12 weeks in the form of fruit. This is what the caveman ate. They didn't eat a loaf of bread. They didn't have that back then. Or a bowl of Lucky Charms, or Fruit Loops, or a bowl of pasta. They ate fruit, and they may have eaten some form of a root vegetable, a tuber. It was high in sugars, starches, carbohydrates. And they didn't overcook it like we do. Pretty much raw. And they gained weight during that period to survive through the wintertime. And they ate as much as they can get their hands on because it was in short demand. It was in short supply, I should say. And those foods are designed to make you crave more, to get as much down as you possibly can. And this is why women are designed to gain weight, because it's called childbearing. You had to have weight on you to carry a baby because that baby lived off of you. But today that's changed. So we let these types of doctors feed on us and make money off us. Go back to our original diet, ladies and gentlemen. And what drives me nuts is when you lay a diet out for some, well, what do I eat? Well, what do you eat now? Okay, so for breakfast, instead of having yourself a bowl of Cheerios, I can't stand when I watch that commercial on TV. What's the good cereal? What's the bad cereal? And they show the same thing. Cheerios. Honey Nut Cheerio. Cripes. Have yourself a couple boiled eggs, or have yourself some Greek yogurt. And when you sit down for lunch, instead of having a sandwich, which most people have with a bag of freaking chips, why don't you have a romaine salad with a little bit of Caesar dressing on it and a cut-up chicken breast? Or a cut-up piece of salmon or fish on it. That's not hard. Not hard. You don't have to have the bread. The same thing for dinner. Instead of having a bowl of spaghetti, you can have the sauce. You can have the meat sauce and sausages with the red sauce in it. Cripes. Great taste. Put some cheese in. Oh, my gosh. You don't need this. You don't need the noodles. So what are you cutting out? The food that doesn't even have flavor to it. Not much flavor in bread. Not much flavor in pasta noodles unless you put stuff on it. Phone number 602-277-5369. And so we are in control of this. And there's certain things you can take that helps to control the cravings. Like I said, L-theanine for cortisol in the middle of the night. Another one's L-glutamine, another amino acid. And L-glutamine works really well for craving sugar. You have that between the meals, about 1,000 milligrams at a whack. Yeah, that keeps the brain functional because the brain starts to fall asleep. The brain is what tells you to eat more. Because the blood sugar is all over the board. L-glutamine is really excellent. And then take some GTF chromium with your meals. Because that chromium makes insulin work better. It bonds to the glucose molecule easier. So it can transport it into the cell. And when that means less insulin. When there's less insulin, there's less meaning, go eat more food. And you have better fat burning. It's not hard to do. Not hard to do. 602-277-5369 is the number. We have about 5 minutes, and you have a chance to call and get in if you have a question. Give an example. I'm a living testimonial to the type of diet that I do, and my blood work supports it. Because if my diet, which I'm telling you about, was bad for you, because if you listen to some of these healthcare providers and these nutritional experts, you would think that my diet would make your cholesterol go up and make you sick and all. If you saw my lipid profile, you would die for it. I have a 72 HDL, and I'm a male. 177 total cholesterol with a 95 LDL and a 51 triglyceride and an 82 blood sugar. And that's not even on a complete fast. You don't see those kind of numbers. People are taking cholesterol drugs, Lipitor and Zocor and Mevacor and all this other stuff, trying to get their lipid profile to look like mine, and they don't even get close. But when I put people on this eating plan, they see the same results, and their doctors go, what are you doing here? And they tell them, they sort of scratch their head. But I've been doing this since the mid-1990s, almost 20 years. And every time I have a blood test, my blood looks even better. You can see the same results, too. You know, and being almost 57 with a body fat of about 8.5%, pretty doggone good. When you figure the average American male is 25% or more, and we have an adult population that 78 million adult Americans are obese, we got a problem. And all we're doing is these doctors, we make too much money to worry about someone dying, about a lawsuit. Unreal. They should go to jail. They won't, though. They won't go to jail. They're going to they'll pay off the husband, okay, the money for losing his wife, doing a desperate surgery because nothing else she felt would work for her, and her life was spinning out of control. So, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't have to. What do you think? How do you think this HCG diet works? It's not the freaking shots that people are taking. It's the doggone diet. It's a low carbohydrate, low food intake diet of about 600 to 900 calories. Low carb. And their body's just burning the fat off. They're starving themselves. And you know what they do? They fall back into the same dang bad habits that they had before. And they gain it all back. Because they don't understand how the body uses food. They just don't understand it. You can make these changes. You can get the weight off quickly. And you can keep it off if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing. And one of the things they tell, don't exercise when you're doing this. I can't believe this. One of the best things you can do to control your appetite is to exercise. You know why? Because they don't have any energy because their diet is so extreme. They don't want them dropping over and suing them. Oh boy, Dr. Fitness is losing it this morning. Anyhow, call Joe for that consultation or Greg over in Arrowhead. Okay, and you can call at 480-451-0071 and set that time up for that free consultation. You've been listening to Solutions by Dr. Fitness. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Have a nice Mother's Day, ladies.
Have you looked in your jewelry box lately? If you're like most people, chances are you'll have all kinds of jewelry, gems, and diamonds that you no longer wear, or watches that no longer work. If these items would be more valuable to you as cash, come to London Gold, the jewelry store smart shoppers have trusted for over 30 years. With gold at an all-time high, now's the time to let London Gold buy from you. Stop by one of our 3 valley-wide locations where our precious metal specialists are always on hand to evaluate your items. We will carefully test and examine each piece to determine its weight and current market value. Then we will make you an offer. If you accept, we'll pay you on the spot, and there's never any pressure to sell. Walk away anytime. No charge, no hassle. And if something in our showroom catches your eye, you can take advantage of our 20% bonus offer towards a new purchase. Imagine, in one visit, you can trade in old style for new ones and take home cash to boot.
London Gold, it's the best.
You're listening to Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, Cave Creek, Phoenix, a division of Premier Radio Stations.